I have well over 1000 hours invested in playing Planet Zoo, and in that time I've created a whole host of different things, including modern extravagant penguin habitats, British historical landmarks, in and out burger restaurants, as well as Halloween themed pumpkin shops, and I've also recreated the Planet Zoo logo and turned that into a habitat. And a question what I get asked a hell of a lot of times is, what are the most useful building pieces? So the aim of this video is to give my take on it and try to answer those questions. And here they are. These are, well, at least to me, the most useful building pieces. Well, at least the building pieces what I use the most. So let's dig into it and let's have a look how these building pieces can be used and how I would use them and why they are the most useful pieces. And the first piece is the mud column. Now this piece would be mainly used for, well, for three different things really. One for measuring, which you can see me currently doing here. Remember, it's an on the grid piece, meaning that you can change that grid size to whatever you want. At the moment, what you're watching is that grid size being on 4 meters. So every mud column is 4 meters apart. So that's a great way to measure stuff. Also, you can line stuff up very easy to make circular buildings, circular roofs, but pretty much anything circular when it comes to building. And you can see me just doing that here. You can see I've just duplicated it like that, rotated it around. This is still on the grid, and then all we have to do is delete those mud columns, what we originally put in, and then group the items together what you want to make a circle out of, and boom, you can start forming your circle just by rotating them every 15 degrees and then selecting all of them again, grouping them together again, turning off the 15-degree angle snap, and then all you have to do is slowly rotate them until you get a perfect circle. Bit of perseverance and you have a circle. You can use this on pretty much any item. It might take a little bit of fiddling around, but the mud column is really useful when creating any circular structure. As well as circular structures, it's very useful for creating domes like this to go on the top of the building with the same technique. Secondly, we have got the mesh pieces. The mesh pieces are amazing and probably one of the pieces I utilise the most personally. I mainly use the mesh pieces to either create barriers and gates and fences like you can see here. And you can add different wood parts in there to give the fences a different look, but the fundamental part of all them, as you can see, is the mesh pieces. And because there is different sizes of mesh, you can make 2 meter mesh fences, you can make 4x4 meter mesh fences, small, tall, medium fences, whichever you want basically. And by the way, if you can't be bothered to make fences like this, these are on my Steam workshop page, link in the description. The next one is the stained wood pieces. And I mainly chose these wood pieces basically because I think they are the best wood pieces in the game. I don't know why, this is more of a personal preference, but yeah, I just really like it. It's like a two-tone wood. Well, that makes sense because it does say stained wood, but yeah, it looks realistic. It can also look modern, it can look authentic, and it can look rustic all at the same time. They are totally recolorable, and there's on the grid pieces and off the grid pieces. And every time I build any kind of structure with these wooden pieces, it just always looks good. And up next we have got the glass wall pieces. And these pieces really come into hand when creating custom windows in a building like you can see me showing off here. And the really good thing about these is the different sizes. Again, we've got 2 meter, 4 meter, but the 1x2 meter, we've got all the different sizes we need, and they are all off the grid. So you can create custom windows, custom and custom window. Now honestly, you can create so much with this: domes, windows, even fences, putting them in between wood to make a fence, a glass fence. The possibilities are endless. In fact, I just remembered a crocodile habitat where I've utilised quite a lot of these window pieces here to create kind of like an overhead shaded area for the animals and for our guests. And next up we have got the temple stone pieces. Now the best way I found to use these, apart from building temples of course, is to create custom paths. That's what I like to do with them anyway, and I think it's a pretty good idea. So remember, these are recolorable, and so you can choose whichever color you want, and you can just start creating your natural looking kind of like cobblestone path. I use this quite a lot if I'm doing like a farm build or kind of like a rustic realistic habitat or enclosure, or you can even just do this throughout your own parks and zoos to make everything look a little bit more realistic and a little bit more natural. You can see how I've done it here in these botanical gardens I created. As you can see, it does come out looking pretty good. Next up we have got the backstage items, so the broom, the shovel, all stuff like that. And obviously this one is very self-explanatory. Just add these to your backstage areas, or just add them to areas like this. A nice little barn I created, the shovel, the brush, stuff like that really does go a long way in creating more realism within the game. These pieces were added in the conservation pack, so if you've not got the conservation pack you will not have access to them, unfortunately. The next item is another item what was included in the new conservation pack, and that's the conservation beam. Now you can use this as beams or as wooden supports, but you can also use it as shading areas. There's many different sizes and variants of this, and it just really looks good. And when you zoom in really close, you can see the actual grain of the wood. They also are they are recolorable, and you can see me here in the process of creating a custom floor with them. I've recolored them to 2 different colours to give it a more realistic look. I've added a gutter on the side so it looks like a curb to the custom path, and it's all about getting everything in line, and boom, you've got a custom paths. They really are versatile, these pieces, and it's probably my favourite wooden beam in the game. Let's just get these lined up now nice and tidy, and then all we have to do then is actually go into the building group, select it all and duplicate it over, and that's how you do a custom path with these beams. Next up we have got the brackets. Now these brackets I mainly use for detailing. Now you can see these custom solar panels are made with these brackets, so let's take a little bit of a deeper look now. Look, if I go into this, these are actually all brackets, and the lines which I've created with the brackets, and that's what I mean by detailing. Try to think of an item and think how else it can be used. These are great for creating lines on everything and anything. Here's 2 custom made cabinets, and you'll see now that this sign here, the kind of like electricity sign, is also made out of the smaller bracket. Next up I'm going to try to do the last 2 together. So we've got the Drin grass and the 4 aquatic rocks. Now, first of all, the rocks are brilliant for creating all kinds of stuff. These are 4 things I created. These are like backdrop wall pieces, 4x4 for your habitat enclosures. By the way, if you want this, Steam Workshop link in the description again. But yeah, let's go into it, and you can see that these are just different coloured 4 rocks with a bit of foliage added into them. And you can really, they're so versatile, and you can really do a lot with them. You can pretty much add the Drin grass everywhere, and it just looks natural and will fit. And I put these 2 together at the end because they go together as well. Here you can see the 4 rocks in 2 different colours, and the grass just popping up above the top. And as you said, the 2 go together really well. Here's a little peacock habitat I created, and you can see that the rocks and the Drin grass really do go. Put them together and boom, you've got a natural looking habitat and a natural looking path like I have here. And going back to one of the habitats what I've used a lot for this video, again, look at the Drin grass and look at the rocks. An outline on the outside of a habitat gate works really well there, as well as around a body of water, a pond, a river, whichever you want. string grass and 4 rocks. My 2 favourite foliage items for sure. And that concludes all my favourite pieces and the pieces I find most useful in this game. Hopefully I've introduced you to some new pieces, or I've given you ideas to use them in different ways. My name's Adam. If this video has helped you, then please hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Hit that like button if you did like the video, and I will catch you in the next Planet Zoo video.